I paid for everything while he built a life with another woman. I was covering the rent when he said his job was temporary unstable, swiping my card for groceries while he promised things would even out soon, and paying for dinners because I loved him and believed in us. I told myself this was what partners did, one stepped up when the other needed time to find their footing. I had no idea that while I was funding our life, he was quietly building another one behind my back. He moved into my apartment officially after his lease ended unexpectedly. That was how he framed it. Just a short-term thing until he got back on his feet. He arrived with 2 suitcases and a gaming console, kissed my cheek, and thanked me for being patient. I didn't ask questions. I trusted him. We were supposed to be a team. At first, it felt almost romantic, like we were playing house. I paid the deposit. I added him to the Wi-Fi. I covered utilities without even mentioning it. When he said he'd pay me back once things stabilized, I waved it off and told him not to stress. Love made me generous. Love made me blind. He said he was working long hours, so I started leaving dinners in the fridge with little notes. He said he was exhausted, so I stopped asking for dates. He said he felt behind in life, so I reassured him endlessly, telling him I believed in him, telling him I was proud of him. I thought I was being supportive. I didn't realize I was slowly erasing myself to make room for someone else. The first strange feeling came when he stopped letting me touch his phone. Not aggressively, just casually pulling it away, flipping it face down, saying he didn't want distractions. He started showering the moment he got home. He took phone calls outside. When I asked who he was talking to, he'd say work without meeting my eyes. Still, I paid. I paid when his card declined at the gas station. I paid when his freelance income didn't come through. I paid for a weekend trip he insisted we needed, even though he barely spoke to me the entire drive. I told myself relationships had rough patches. I told myself this was temporary. I told myself he would never betray me after everything I'd done for him. What I didn't know was that my money was buying him freedom, not for us, but for her. I found out accidentally, the way most ugly truths come out, not through confession, but through a crack in the story. A receipt fell out of his jacket while I was doing laundry. A CAFID never heard of. 2 coffees. The date and time were during hours he claimed he was working late. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I needed more than a feeling. I started noticing patterns. The same excuses on the same days. The way he'd suddenly be energetic before leaving and drained when he came home. The way he'd smile at his phone, then look annoyed when I entered the room. Then one night, he forgot to log out of his email on our shared tablet. I didn't even mean to look. But the subject line popped up. Lease confirmation. My heart started pounding before I opened it. It wasn't our address. It wasn't even our neighborhood. It was a 1-bedroom apartment across town. His name was on it. And hers was too. I sat there frozen, scrolling through emails that unraveled everything. Furniture deliveries. Utility setups. Messages about paint colors. A life carefully constructed while I was paying for the one we supposedly shared. I kept scrolling until I found the message that broke me completely. It was from him to her, sent months earlier. He wrote that he was stuck in a situation but working on getting out. He wrote that I was helping him financially and that it wouldn't be for much longer. He wrote that once he was free, he'd finally be able to start their real life together. I was never his partner. I was his sponsor. When he came home that night, I was sitting on the couch with the tablet in my hands. He knew immediately. His face drained of color. He didn't even ask what was wrong. I asked him how long. He tried to deflect. I asked him again. He said almost a year. A year of me paying for everything. A year of him building a future with someone else while sleeping in my bed and letting me believe we were struggling together. He said he never meant to hurt me. He said things just got complicated. He said he felt trapped and didn't know how to leave without blowing up his life. I stared at him, realizing I had been the thing holding his life together while he dismantled mine. I asked him if she knew I was paying for his life. He didn't answer. That silence told me everything. I told him to pack his things. He said he had nowhere to go. I laughed, actually laughed, and told him he had a fully furnished apartment waiting for him. One I indirectly paid for by covering his half of existence. He left with the same 2 suitcases had arrived with, except this time there was no kiss, no gratitude, no illusion left to protect. The aftermath was brutal. I went through bank statements and realized just how much I'd given him. Thousands. Rent. Food. Gas. Trips. comfort, stability. I felt sick. I felt used. I felt like my kindness had been weaponized against me. Mutual friends reached out, confused by his version of events. Apparently, I was controlling. Apparently, had been stuck in a financial power imbalance. The irony almost broke me. I had funded his freedom, and he painted himself as the victim. Weeks later, she messaged me. She said she hadn't known everything. She said he told her I was just a roommate. She said she was sorry. I believed her, not because it erased the pain, but because I recognized the same manipulation I'd fallen for. He didn't just use money. He used stories. The final twist came months later when he tried to come back. He said living with her wasn't what he expected. He said reality hit harder when there was no one else paying the bills. He said he missed the stability we had. He said he realized I was the best thing that ever happened to him. I told him I hoped he found someone willing to fund his next lesson. Then I blocked him everywhere. Healing didn't feel empowering at first. It felt humiliating. I had to forgive myself for staying, for paying, for believing love meant sacrifice without limits. But slowly, something shifted. My money became mine again. My space became peaceful. My life stopped feeling like a resource someone else was draining. Now, when I think back, I don't just grieve the relationship. I grieve the version of myself who believed love meant carrying someone while they quietly planned their escape. I don't regret being generous. I regret giving generosity to someone who saw it as an opportunity. I paid for everything while he built a life with another woman, but he paid in the end with the one thing he can't replace. Access to me.